Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to cover another book by Bentov called A Brief Tour of Higher Consciousness. The reason being, I'm a child of the 70s and Bentov's books just ooze wisdom to me. Sometimes I wish we could just go back to the past and pick up where we left off there. But then again, we can always revisit threads, pick them back up and weld them together in the now. Which is kind of what I'm trying to do with this channel. So if you haven't seen my first video on Bentov, you might want to go back and watch that one first. This book here is pretty much a work of cartography. Bentov is sketching a map of all of creation. He bases his writings on subjective experience and insights that he had while meditating. Let's quickly review the possible brain states that humans can have. As you can see on this chart, there are 5 main brainwave types: gamma, beta, alpha, theta and delta. Each has a different frequency range. Starting from the top of the chart, high frequency gamma waves come in brief moments of heightened awareness and insight. However, you spend most of your day in a beta frequency. Beta is characterized by active thinking, problem solving, ruminating and focus on tasks. Essentially, beta waves signal that you are in doing mode. If you close your eyes, you might slip into an alpha state, becoming calm and introspective. Alpha also marks a creative zone, and it is the one you're in every night before falling asleep. Meditators are in relaxed, yet still alert, theta frequencies. In alpha and theta you reach a flow state, which is a feeling of complete presence and effortless action without the sense of a doer. Clearly Bentov must have gotten his insight somewhere between alpha and theta. A central theme in Bentov's exploration is the vibrational nature of reality. Drawing from physics, he explains how everything in the universe, from the smallest quantum particle to the vastness of galaxies, is in a constant state of vibration. These vibrations occur at various frequencies and are the foundation of matter, energy, and by extension, consciousness itself. Bentov suggests that different states of consciousness correspond to different vibrational frequencies. This framework allows for the existence of multiple dimensions of reality, accessible through shifts in consciousness. According to his wife Myrta, Bentov's mind worked at 2 levels. As a scientist, he functioned on the objective, factual level, and as a meditator, he experienced the subjective, intuitive knowledge of a mystic. Incidentally, contemporary researchers like Donald Hoffman or Thomas Campbell account for similar experiences. They both oscillate between those different brain states, and their work really is a symbiosis of scientific and intuitive exploration. Bentov always maintained a sense of humility. This becomes apparent in his statement. Also, he had a deep sense of curiosity and also cheekiness. There's a funny story about him being 9 years old and wanting to challenge God. As a Jewish person, he went out on Yom Kippur. This is a very high Jewish holiday. He sat in a park and he ate a ham sandwich, which is forbidden in his religion, just to see what happens. So as he sat there finishing his ham sandwich and nothing had happened, he concluded there must be more to God than what he had been told. And this is when his lifelong search began. Many of the concepts mentioned in this book are explained in the book Stalking the White Pendulum, which I reviewed a couple of videos back. So we'll just have to presuppose a lot of those concepts here, such as the holographic nature of existence. Bentov ascribes to the concept that we are and have more than one physical body. We have non-physical subtle bodies as well, which could be described as higher harmonics of the physical body. In esoteric literature, those are also called the 7 auric bodies in relation to the chakra system. According to Bentov, we interact with non-material realities through the higher harmonics or non-physical components of our physical body. And each plane of existence functions according to a particular set of laws. Also, depending on who you are in the physical, information from higher planes will come to you in a kind of language that is best understandable to you. This is an interesting point because if you compare, for example, the work of Thomas Campbell with Bentov's work, you will find that while their essence is similar, they use entirely different terminologies to describe what they experienced. Personally, I much prefer Bentov's simplistic and also childlike approach. Depending on your own makeup, you might resonate with one or the other. Bentov explains the structure of all creation starting from our own universe. In our last video on Bentov, we already talked about the idea of the cosmic egg. In Bentov's mind, our universe takes the shape of an egg with a nucleus at the center. The nucleus is a combination of a white and a black hole. In this book, he equates that center of such a universe with a creator, a conscious being. In his meditations, he ventured further out to see what is beyond our universe, and in his mind's eye, he saw a spiral composed of 7 loops, each loop lined with 7 universes, totaling a coil of 49 universes. On top of that structure, he perceived a luminous, 3-dimensional shape formed by 4 creative energies that are active on this level. Together, these 4 energies form the shape of the Aleph, a letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Bentov explains that this and other letters must have been perceived by ancient seers and thus incorporated into what we now know to be the Hebrew alphabet. Such an Aleph contains all 49 creators, or is the sum total consciousness of the creators of the 49 universes taken together. Together, they form a cosmos. Creation doesn't stop with a cosmos. When Bentov moved further out, he found that multiple cosmoses were clustered together, organized in the shape of a tetrahedron. Hundreds of thousands of such tetrahedrons in turn are part of an even bigger sphere, what Bentov called a supercosmos. Not surprisingly, when he moved further out, he became aware that there are many supercosmoses and they are part of even larger clusters, about 60 cosmoses in diameter. Those larger structures are themselves part of yet a bigger structure of spheres within spheres, 7 levels in all. Moving out even further, he found that all these structures taken together formed a tremendous luminous bluish sphere containing all there is. He called this sum total manifest creation. And manifest creation is couched in a void or the absolute. At this point, I would like to briefly digress on the concept of fractals. I think it and its underlying principles, such as self-sameness, are helpful when trying to plausibilize Bentov's work. The mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot introduced the term fractal in 1975 to describe these complex shapes that look similar at every scale of magnification, suggesting a kind of self-similarity inherent in nature. Fractals are evident in many natural formations and phenomena, from the branching patterns of leaves, trees, and the structure of river networks, to the formation of snowflakes or broccoli. These patterns suggest that fractal geometry is a fundamental aspect of natural growth and distribution processes. Fractals offer a way to understand the complexity and seemingly chaotic patterns observed in the universe. They also help in understanding the complexity of biological systems. The inference that fractals serve as an algorithm of nature is quite obvious. Fractal patterns are incredibly efficient in terms of maximizing surface areas within a limited volume, and the fractal concept implies that the same algorithm can govern phenomena at vastly different scales, from the microscopic to the cosmic. Because fractal algorithms are used to model complex systems and processes, the concept could support the simulation hypothesis, which suggests that our reality is a sort of simulation. There is this property of self-similarity in fractals, where patterns repeat at every scale. This mirrors the idea that a simulated universe might contain nested simulations within simulations. The efficiency of fractals in describing complex natural systems with simple rules could be seen as analogous to the efficiency needed to simulate a whole universe. If our reality were a simulation, it might utilize fractal-like algorithms to maximize the complexity and detail of the simulated environment while minimizing computational resources. While specific philosophers and scientists discussing the simulation hypothesis may not directly base their arguments on fractals, the underlying consideration of how complex realities can be generated from simple rules is a common thread that connects the simulation hypothesis with the world of fractals. So while fractals themselves are not the foundation of the simulation hypothesis, the principles behind fractals, such as self-similarity, the emergence of complexity from simple rules, and the efficiency of encoding complex systems, resonate with the ideas considered by those exploring the possibility that we live in a simulated reality. Now, since we digressed on fractals, we might as well draw comparisons between Bentov's cosmology and the simulation hypothesis to see where they converge or diverge. Bentov's cosmology shares some thematic resonance with the simulation hypothesis. Bentov's ideas about an underlying consciousness and a cosmic evolution led by a form of collective consciousnesses could be seen as a metaphorical parallel to the concept of creators in the simulation hypothesis. However, Bentov's vision is more panentheistic. Creators in Bentov's Russian doll sort of view are just higher, larger and amalgamated forms of the type of individualized consciousness that we humans are familiar with. So Bentov sees the universe and consciousness as interlinked and evolving together. The simulation hypothesis has more of a deistic take on things. It proposes some kind of external creator, external to us anyway, so it anthropomorphizes imagining a creator or creators in human-like terms. Bentov's cosmology suggests that we are all part of this universal consciousness, effectively participating in the creation process. And this contrasts with the simulation hypothesis, which imagines a distinct creator or creators, such as an advanced civilization or artificial intelligence. Both Bentov's theory and the simulation hypothesis question the nature of physical matter and reality. Bentov saw physical matter as just one modulation of consciousness, a view that aligns with the simulation hypothesis. The simulation hypothesis suggests that what we perceive as reality is more of a constructed experience. However, Bentov's approach is more about the unfolding of self-organizing principles of the universe rather than an artificially constructed simulation. Understanding ourselves as both the creators and the created challenges our everyday perceptions of individuality, separateness, and the ego. Bentov's work invites us to expand our understanding of consciousness and our place in the universe. Rather than regarding creators, and notice I'm using the plural here, as entities with volition and an agenda, we are to regard them as a hierarchy of the same underlying consciousness, all joined in the endeavor of creation. This hierarchy of consciousness levels ranges from the individual human experience to the collective consciousness of creators, gods, and what Bentov calls devas. A key theme in Bentov's work is the evolution of consciousness. Bentov suggests that consciousness is not static, but undergoes a continual process of growth and expansion. This evolutionary journey is driven by experience, learning, and the desire to return to the source of all existence, which is pure, unbounded consciousness. Through meditation, contemplation, and mindful living, individuals can accelerate their evolutionary journey, ascending through the levels of consciousness towards greater awareness and unity with the cosmos. This process is both personal and collective, as each individual's growth contributes to the overall evolution of consciousness in the universe. I hope I was able to get you interested in Bentov's book. It certainly helped me to put things into perspective. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.